Today on The Avenue, we are staging a stunning Spanish-style villa with a historic exterior and a freshly renovated interior. This special home is the perfect blend of timeless charm and modern luxury, and our team loved bringing the space to life. And stay tuned until the end of the video, where I'll be showcasing some of the large-scale art pieces I created to use in our day-to-day stagings. So the home's very neutral, it's traditional, and we've got copper, and we've got a lot of marble, and it's an old home, so we wanted to use things that look like they would have been around way back when, but with a modern take to it. All of the hardware is polished nickel, so you've got polished nickel and copper, so we went with those metals. And then just kind of bringing in the different wood colors. The floor is a pretty medium neutral, but then the kitchen's a little more honey colored, which plays into the copper. I don't know how old this home is. Maybe a 100-year-old home. And it was just in ruins. It was just the exterior. Oh.
1944.
So not yet quite antique. In 19 more years, it'll be an antique house, 100 years old. We're gonna let it count as a very, very old house. And it was just in ruins, so just the brick, just the exterior. And they came in as an investment with a great designer, and it's a brand new house on the inside with all the character of the old house in the exact neighborhood you'd want to be in. And it's huge, it's got everything. So that makes it really special, because it's hard to get the old house charm with new construction, and it's both. I mean, it's an estate, it's gorgeous, big, beautiful house. And so this is a 2-day stage. Normally, I mean, we could have done it in one with a couple trips, but we had to move out of another house yesterday. So it's a 2-day house. And on homes like this, so normal homes, we bring like 8 to 10 bins worth of decor. This one, there were 26 today. And then yesterday we had 6. So a lot of stuff to fill up this house. And so we kind of just threw in some extras and play with it on the spot. And that's, you know, makes it a little more personal too, and finding exactly just the right piece for each surface. Finishing the rug. Bringing in the desk, finishing the desk. Got it. Okay? This is how people carry rugs, right? And then the big chair. All right, I'll walk in with the tray. I guess I'll wait for them to move out. And then let's do the chair where we can see the front of the chair. Okay, cool. If you want to see more of our home staging projects, follow us on Instagram at The Avenue Staging. And if you're looking for stylish decor for your own space, check out our Instagram store page at Shop at The Avenue. You can also visit us online at shopattheavenue.com. We finally finished up the staging, and I'd love for you to take a look. You walk right into a 2-story entryway, but the entry itself actually is 3 different points. If you look straight ahead, we wanted to touch on what you'd see right when you came in. But then also, there's this little moment here that I thought was real sweet. It's a real sweet view. We put some seating in and fun little photos that kind of mimic the shape of the wall. And so then you've got these touching points. And then another one would be here. This is one that you can see from the exterior. We did a pedestal in the window. It's pretty from the entry, it's pretty from the exterior, and it's pretty when you're coming down. So we were real thoughtful on getting all the different angles and places that people would see and the first experience that they would feel when they come into the home. Stepping down into one of the living rooms, we have this really long, large space. We wanted to keep walking capabilities around everything, and so we brought in a single large sofa and 4 chairs. This room could obviously hold a whole bunch more options of furniture, but I thought this one was really pretty to come into the back of a chair and just to kind of see the symmetry. We grounded the room with a jute rug, and we have this great natural wood coffee table that we had made that we actually sell in our shop, but I just really wanted to highlight it here. When we get these luxury homes, we go a little bit more above and beyond. And so we reached out in this home to Christy Vogt, who's a local artist, and she had some pieces that were just so beautiful that we wanted to touch on. So she had this piece and I absolutely loved it. The home itself has a warm, neutral tone throughout with wood floors, but then we've got this honey color. You can see it here in the trim of the windows. It's also in the kitchen. And so I think that this sagey green piece of art really complements the honey wood tone. And then we just brought in bits that really help to unify us. We have these lamps, this throw, and it all just makes sense. Repeating things is so important, to repeat colors, shapes, patterns, and that really helps to unify a room. We also brought in a little bit of sage here in these velvet pillows and in the art of the bar area. And so all together, everything makes sense. And we contrasted the sage green on the sofa with a single vintage lumbar that again ties in kind of the copper tones in the wood and the copper that you'll see in the kitchen. So real intentional. We spend a lot of time really playing into not just let's decorate the coffee table, but like let's bring in the copper tone, let's bring in the sage, make sure everything complements each other. We have polished nickel in the kitchen also, in a lot of the hardware. So we brought in polished nickel here on the table, and everything really just feels good. It feels elevated. Really a nice warm welcome into the room. This corner was rather large and we didn't want to leave it undone. So we also brought in another piece from our shop. It complements the coffee table and its rustic woodness. And then we did just a fun little bar scene here. The botanicals complement the art and the accessories. You have some vintage. We really wanted to bring in that history into the home. And again, some silver and polished nickel. Walking up to the dining room, this room is beautiful because of all the natural light and you get to see the backyard. Went a little more minimal in here. The rug has the copper tones that again you're gonna see in the kitchen and the warm honey color that it's complementing. But then we just brought in linen chairs with a little touch of that rust color here and some pattern to complement the rug. We've got silver candlesticks to complement the polished nickel in the kitchen. And then this great found basket. Again, history and texture. And then this just makes me really happy. We have this wall of built-ins. This is a dining room, but I didn't want to do dishes because the openings are a little larger. So we brought in these vintage African pots that we also sell in our shop. And the color, the texture, the tone just works really well. And then we brought in some pieces up here that are just more structural and repeat the colors we have going on. The mirror was a great find. It has a fun shape to it. These I actually painted. They're little landscapes and we have them in a silver frame, and I think that they're just fantastic. Usually scale plays a big role in decision making, and I actually love that these are smaller and not filling up the wall. I think from entering the room, it's just a nice little bit to have something over here without it commanding too much attention, because really, I mean, if you look at the outside, this home is just beautiful. It's full of history, and with all of these windows, you really want to look outside and enjoy that from the inside. This was a fun space. It's really large. They had the sconces here already, so we brought a large piece of art again with some of the sage tones in it, some vintage pieces, and some art, photography, a little catch-all to throw your keys in. And this is just a real nice, warm welcome that you'd see when you come in the house, and it's just full enough to feel complete without being overdone while still incorporating a lot of different things. So this was a fun space to do. And then you come into the second living space, which is split up. The fireplace is not centered on the room, and they wanted to bring in large TVs to stay with the house. So we did a fun little just sitting area here. You can sit by the fire. We brought in a vintage chess set, some real comfy chairs and ottomans. And so this is just like a nice landing space. You can sit here and read while someone's cooking or play a little game. I think this is just where I would want to land after cooking. And really the chair swivel so you can see almost the whole downstairs from here. So I think this is really a fun space that most homes don't have. And then into our living room. This one has a different feel, but you can see it still complements the other living room. We have texture in the chairs. We have the warm coppery honey color that we see in the wood again. So we've got wood here, some copper tones here, and what we will see in just a second that I can see from here is the copper hood over the range. And so we've got these copper accents here. We have terracotta, a copper bowl, another terracotta candle holder here. So we're really pulling everything in together while keeping it different from the other room, but still interesting. And I just love how this room feels like a sister to the other room while having its own personality and its own interest. Again, with the vintage items, we really wanted to keep the history of the home and the old feeling that the home has, even though it's brand new on the inside. So bringing in older things, I think, helps to continue on the story of history and longevity. Making our way over into the kitchen. This kitchen is huge, it's gorgeous. And it's actually kind of split up. And we've got an area over here looking out the window and then a large cooking area here. So the island itself is that honey wood. And then we've got a paint grade cabinet everywhere else. So we brought in honey colored wood again here in a riser, in our stools, in little bits that we brought into the kitchen, just to repeat that. We've got the sage green here in our herbs and even in our pasta and our cake stand. So everything really ties together well, but each piece on its own really are showstoppers themselves. And when they're all pulled together, I mean, it's just really interesting, even just to look up here on this cute ledge that they had. And every little piece repeats the story that the house itself is already telling. So we've got copper accents, we have silver and polished nickel, and it just feels really good to me. I think that it feels really lived in. It feels well curated and like you could just move in. All right, over here we brought in a great vintage runner. Again, repeating the color, it brings in a little bit of pattern and keeps things interesting. And we went a little more minimal over here. Didn't want to fill up everything. This was a real fun one because we have so much inventory in our warehouse, and it does matter what we choose for each home. And this one was just like so intentional and so themed already that we got to just dive in and go in deep with our selections. And so it made it really, really fun. Here's the second piece of art that we brought in from Christy Vogt. I mean, she had already made these. These were pieces she already had, and look how perfectly this ties in to the house. This is just made for the home. This window seat is so sweet, and we brought in an oval table and some fun shaped chairs with some curves on them. This house is very square, bringing in some of the roundness, and they have a curve here in the chandelier and then some round vases. I think this just all feels really, really sweet. And the sweetness of this art is not lost upon me. This is just really perfect. And then Maddie chose a really cool selection of pillows here. We've got texture, repeating colors, and a fun little floral. When they first started remodeling this home, it was just the bones. It was just the brick on the exterior. Every single thing on the interior is brand new. Every window, floor, all of the plumbing and electrical. but I'm really happy with everything that they did keep. Right off of the dining room is the sweetest little balcony. Look at this concrete. I mean, this little wall here is so sweet. It kept the character, and now we have this fun little dining space where you could come out and drink your coffee or watch the kids swim in the pool. They did a really great job keeping the character and integrity of the home. Now let's make our way upstairs. At the top of the stairs, we have a powder bathroom, and they incorporated this great green tile in the shower, which we repeated downstairs. This kind of also gave us our color palette for the home. They use a lot of polished nickel, copper, and so we've got a vase in here that's like, we couldn't have planned this better. It's like the same green glaze as the tile, so it makes for a really sweet little moment here in the bathroom. While we focus on the larger spaces of the homes, we do like to touch on any other smaller room, like a laundry room. Normally we just bring in a plant or some rolled towels, but in here we brought in some dried botanicals, a fun basket over the sink, and some fun accessories. So when they come and look in the laundry room, it has a cute little moment for them instead of just being an empty room. We're now upstairs at the back of the house where the primary bedroom is, but there was this space right before the primary bedroom where we knew we had to do something intentional to show how we would use this room. So this could be a lot of things. This could be a workout area. This could be just a sitting area. We showed it as an office and sitting area. And so we found this wonderful library table that my friend Cece sourced, and it's vintage. It looks like it belongs in the home. We've got another fun little shaped chair here, and even just the accessories we pulled in here repeat the color theme of the home. So we have a sage woven tray. I even brought in just a little marble bowl of pennies to tie in the copper from downstairs, and some polished nickel, some botanicals, and some vintage pieces. And this all just kind of tells the same story as the house. It's still interesting and fills the room with a story. And then over here, we brought in just a fun little sitting area where you could sit and read or put your shoes on. And I love the feel of this room. It feels very feminine, it feels light, it feels interesting. And right on into the primary bedroom we've got. This is the first thing you see when you come in, so we wanted to highlight this wall. And so we brought in a fun collection of art pieces to make a little gallery and a nice chaise where you could just sit and read. Then we look over to the side of the room and we have this big, beautiful upholstered bed that just has some soft curves to it. And we brought in some patterns, some color, and repeated what you see downstairs. And I think it's just a real nice, soft finish. We have our nightstands that complement the window trim. Each little piece we picked is really intentional. I think that's what helps make us really special as a staging company, is that we can really dive into the specifics that will pull the home together and bring it to life. Now we're in the primary bathroom, and I think it's just really sweet and beautiful. We did some candles on the ledge to show that there's a real thick ledge going around the room, a vintage stool next to the tub with a fun vintage mat. Here we've got a little vanity area, so we brought in, again, some of the sage green and a fun ottoman. And even in the shower, we brought in some accessories to really bring how you'd live in this space to life. Well, that was fun. Thanks for coming along. We really take a lot of pride in our work and love the value that we bring through staging to Fresno's real estate market. I hope you enjoyed our little tour of this historical home in the heart of Fresno. Once a year, Daniel takes the kids camping with his family. It's a big camping trip, And I'm so happy for them. I'm so happy that they get to go and enjoy the dunes and riding quads and everything. I don't love camping, but I do love staying at home, having the air conditioner on, the music turned up loud, and a good amount of time to create. So this week I've been painting. I've kind of taken over the whole downstairs, and I've been knocking out a bunch of oversized pieces for home staging. It can be tough to find oversized art that you like and that can go in a bunch of different homes and it's not super specific. I found it's just nice and easy to make my own, and I kind of know what colors we're already going for and what we do often. So this year I definitely went a little more modern, a little more funky than I normally do. But I've been really inspired by a lot of other artists, and been searching through inspiration through my coffee table books that I love. And so I kind of went a little more fun. And in some of those houses that we get, pieces like this are really gonna stand out. All of these still need to be framed, so Daniel's going to frame them for me, but I've kind of done the hard work. Here's another little more modern one. This one's probably my favorite. It's got like a really great olive color to it. We use this a lot in staging. It works really well in a lot of homes. But then it's got this like subtle charcoal scribble all over it. And so this one is gonna be really fun. I could use it in any room. This one's a little more dark and moody. This we won't use as often, but it's nice to have a variety. We have another one here. This one has a lot of texture. Some joint compound and baking soda was mixed in with paint here for this one, but this one still has a little movement to it. It's fun. And then this one, I just went on Pinterest and looked up, oversized art, and I just recreated my own. I thought the inspo pick was really good, and I loved how they had like a darker gray, a darker, like almost a black with brown. And this, again, we will use all the time. It's interesting. It's not of something specific. It doesn't have to be a certain scene. You don't have to understand what it means, but it's just art and it's there. And I still have 3 more days before they get back. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've done 6. I'm gonna try to do 18 more, which is a little advantageous of me. We'll see how far I get, and then I'll have a nice big pile of art for Daniel to frame when he gets back.